Is it possible that receiving the coronavirus vaccine, the RNA vaccine, could cause you to become ill with coronavirus? In a word, no. Let me explain. Some vaccines, not the coronavirus vaccine, some vaccines might use a form of the virus, a mutant form, which is no longer infectious. The mutation that it has rendered it non-virulent. And this is what the vaccine is using to train your immune system to recognize that virus. It is sometimes possible that viral particles undergo a second mutation, a reversion mutation, which returns them to the original infectious state. Now, that is not true of all vaccines for viruses, because there are many different types of mutant strains, some of which it is impossible that they undergo a reversion mutation. And this is 100% not the situation with the corona vaccine. It is theoretically possible that if a vaccine is using bacteria which are rendered non-infectious by killing them, for example, by heat, there is a possibility that poorly prepared vaccine would not have bacteria which have been killed by heat. Therefore, there would be virulent bacteria which actually could cause disease. Once again, this is 100% not the situation with the coronavirus vaccine. The coronaviruses get their name from the crown or corona of spike proteins, which are the viral proteins which bind to the receptor on human cells, the ACE2 receptor, which allows the virus to enter human cells. This red spike protein is very important in the coronavirus infection. The coronavirus RNA vaccine does not contain viral proteins like that red spike protein. Instead, it contains the instructions in the coding molecule known as RNA, which codes for how to make that protein. If a human cell learns how to make the coronavirus spike protein, can it then create the whole coronavirus? The answer is no. When you look at the coronavirus genome, that is the whole set of its RNA molecules, you can see how many proteins are made, not just the S protein here, the spike protein. In this image, all of the purple RNA strands represent the instructions for many of the proteins of coronavirus. Only the red portion codes for the spike protein. And the coronavirus vaccines only use a small portion of this, the red RNA in this image, for the spike protein. While it is possible to use naked RNA in a vaccine, the efficacy of the vaccine is increased when the RNA is enclosed in a lipid nanoparticle. When human cells receive the RNA for the spike protein, as I will describe more fully in other videos, the ribosomes of human cells, whether they be free-floating ribosomes or ribosomes attached to the RER, then synthesize this one single protein of the virus, not the whole virus. And it is this protein which will teach the immune system how to recognize these spike proteins on the outside of coronavirus particles. Once again, I will describe this later. The first two coronavirus vaccines incorporated the RNA for the spike protein inside lipid nanoparticles, and there is no danger of cells being able to make infectious coronavirus particles after receiving the vaccine.